Welcome back to Crypto Disco, everybody. Big news dropped today by Flare, which it's a disappointment for some people, but it's actually super important. Excuse me, I've been kind of fighting off a cold. Super important for the Flare network and their ecosystem and how everything works. What it is you can see here in their tweet. They're introducing Flare Time Series Oracle version 2, more data delivered faster, free to query any crypto feeds that are secure as a network now on the mainnet. So, why this is so important is as we get closer to FAssets, essentially, they're bringing more off chain data into the blockchain and speeding it up. Especially when we get into FAssets and there'll be more and more usage on the network, well, you got to scale that, right? So, the more usage it gets, you got to be able to support that bandwidth usage. So a lot of people are thinking, and there's a lot of not necessarily FUD posts that have been seen, but disappointment. They're expecting F assets to be announced that's going live. Which, come on, that's not the case. It's not going to go straight to Flare. It's got to go. It's going to go to Songbird first. Bitcoin testing, Bitcoin F assets has only been what 2 weeks now at most, 2 3 weeks maybe that's been testing. So that still needs a couple months worth of testing. I had some struggles trying to test it and finally be able to meet and redeem some Bitcoin F assets here this past week. XRP F assets has been going well. There's been ups and downs. There's not been a whole lot of collateral lately. By the network providers or by the agents. So been minting smaller lots, but it's still been going. So I mean, I haven't had any hitches or been unable to claim and get collateral rather than XRP return. But a lot of people are just like, man, they're wanting to see that price action and they're getting impatient. The one thing I really appreciate from Hugo and the Flair team is that they're doing it the right way. They're not just like, oh, we're trying to make a lot of money here, get the bucks and get the price pump going, put out some good news. They're putting in the foundation and put in the steps needed to make sure as they get into F assets, it's going to run smoothly, won't be any hiccups. So that's really important why we have the Costin test network that everything's going on now. Then it'll get moved over to Songbird and then over to Flare. So this is just one thing that's getting us closer to that. And as we get into it here, yeah, as we get into here, uh, they get into it like, hey, there's been zero downtime since this inception, and now version 2, we're scaling it to 1,000 feeds of data, free to query, not going to cost anything additional, and the block latency feeds, it's spreading, it's speeding up, right? So to grasp this powder, you got to start building on network, and it takes 10 lines of code to get price feeds. Now let's learn about what's so powerful about version 2, right? So with each new block, it's only roughly every 1.8 seconds, so less than 2 seconds for a new block. So it makes it an ideal oracle for DeFi, supporting use cases of lending and borrowing, perpetual and options trading, and all the different things that we already know about. Support up to 1,000 feeds, not limited. Like I mentioned earlier, you can even get off-chain information fed into it, right? So it's not limited to crypto price feeds like when you're trying to do swaps or anything else, but different asset classes, including equities, commodities, 2 weeks of historical data. It'll be really interesting, especially if you get into tokenization. Um, and then cost-effective querying, block latency feeds is mostly free on Flare, which we don't want to see additional costs come into it, right? So it removes financial barriers by offering most fees at no cost. So more decentralization, which is awesome, is everything we want. And all the benefits above while not sacrificing any bits of decentralization and security. So Flare's 100 validators can serve a dual role as block validators and data providers. This enshrined architecture ensures that every single feed is secured by the entire network. And like I said above, like, hey, each new block is less than 2 seconds. So that just helps everybody in a faster network. So the version 2 supercharges the Flare DeFi, empowering the DApps to refine expand their offerings. Connected markets is real popular. Layer 0, I've talked about a little bit before, that they brought in. And if you want to know what's more on the hood, you can go to their tweet and they got some more details on that going into it. So, first comment, so amazing. It is. It really is amazing. Sorry, not sorry. Exciting news. Yes, the Kip emoji. Um, but it's really important. As you can see, though, the market isn't feeling it for price action. I mean, the overall market, except for XRP, is up 2% today. Is mostly down, and that's not something that's like, hey, do you sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing? I don't know. But the price action is staying just hovering right around, just underneath 1.5 cents. It's got this really strong level of support here that we're seeing. Um, this is going back almost a month and a half now. So we'll see how this plays out. No big price bump. You're not going to get a price bump from news like this. Just upgrading the network. I mean, it's very important to lay the groundwork and the foundation for when FAssets hits, and that's where you want to get your price accumulation once you start bringing Bitcoin, XRP, um, and other tokens onto the network. But so, what do you guys think? Super exciting news. Yeah, don't really care about the technical details. Just waiting on FAssets. What do you want to see next for Flare? Obviously, Songboard coming up next too, right along with it. But on the next video, we'll get into a little bit more of the Flare rewards because there's more than just delegating staking. And we'll talk about that next time. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.